Welcome in, Irish Nation of the Golden Dawn, here with Coach Reardon, following week one, going into week two against Bishop Hartley. Coach, thanks for joining me. A good Hartley test on the road in Columbus. After last week, how are you guys looking to bounce back and kind of get back into the win column?
Yeah, so first of all, we did a lot of good things last week, but we came up a little bit short in the fourth quarter, and we got to play a little bit better defense. Obviously, they're stout, they were big up front, and they were able to exploit our defensive line a little bit, which is a little bit smaller and quicker in nature, but. I think we'll be fine. I think so far we've had a good week of practice, and we are going up against a very good opponent in Columbus Hartley. We have some experience with them. Several years ago, they came to our place opening night and had a very high-scoring game on both sides, but we got away with a win that time.
Right, almost 120 combined points that game. Maybe not quite as high-scoring this time, but it's still going to be an entertaining and competitive game. So what kind of were some positive takeaways you took away from last week? Even though it was a loss, it was against a really good team that you guys went down to the wire against.
Yeah, so I thought we were, for the most part, we were efficient on offense. So a couple drives in the first half where we got behind the sticks on the first down and didn't have success because of that. But the second half, we moved the ball well. We had two costly turnovers. That was ultimately the difference in the game. Fumbled going in on the 1 yard line, and in the second half, we were driving the ball a little bit and fumbled again. And so we got to take better care of the football. But we were mostly efficient, so that was good to see. Defensively, we did some good things, but it was inconsistent. We need to be better on first down and give ourselves a chance to put the opposition in passing situations on second and third.
And a lot of the quarterback scramble was a big reason for breaking those long third downs. But consistently, more times than not, if you get a team in the third and longs, how will that benefit you guys in terms of keeping your offense on the field more often?
Yeah, they did a good job, and a lot of those were quarterback runs. Not necessarily scrambles, but getting teams behind the sticks gives you a chance to force them to play left-handed, and when you can force a high school team to throw, more often than not, good things are going to happen defensively. And that's the goal. So if we can get them in third and long, we can get into a blitz package. We can play a little more conservative pass coverage at times, depending on what we expect out of the offense. So, but ultimately trying to get our pass rush going one way or another.
Right. Columbus Hartley, they run the ball a lot. They ran it a lot last week. So what kind of adjustments do you think you guys will need to make to stop the run this week better than last week?
Yeah, so they do a really good job with formations, and first and foremost, they do some unconventional things formationally. They do a good job with their personnel packages. So we have to match up to that stuff. We have to get lined up properly. There'll be an unbalanced sets. They'll use 2 and 3 tight ends at times, and then the next play they'll be in a spread set and everything in between. So they give you a lot to prepare for from that standpoint. But getting lined up, making proper adjustments, that's the first key to it. And if we do that, then we got to play physical football and tackle well and run to the football and all those things that we harp on.
Right, and of course, this isn't like going down to East 10 minutes on the road. This is a 2.5 hour trip, close to 3 hours. How is that a little different? How are you guys going to be prepared for kind of a longer business-like trip as it is for a full-day thing?
Yeah, so we're going down and coming back in the same day. Roughly 2.5 hour bus ride one way. The one thing I would say is that our kids, we talked about this the other day. We had 40 kids on a bus that spent a week on a bus and doing a camp trip, and we do that every summer. And our seniors have done it for 2 or 3 or 4 years, some of them, and our kids are no stranger to riding on a bus, getting off the bus, and having to perform, because we do it all summer long. So, we have to handle it and manage it, but, it's not something that's out of our expectation or anything like that.
Right, we mentioned last week DC's first game at quarterback, and then Sean Will, his first game playing football. So how do the guys who have maybe not much experience at those positions or in football in general, how do you think they fared, and how do you see them trying to get towards the rest of the season?
Yeah, so I thought D. Will played a nice game on defense. He had an interception. He had several tackles. He had a pass breakup. So, I thought he did a real good job for his first time playing varsity football for us. And, that was good to see. He had 2 good scrimmages for us as well. And he's going to get better and better just as he understands the big picture more and more and more. And that just comes with reps. On the offensive side of the ball, DC, I thought he did a good job outside of the one fumble he had. And, He ran the ball effectively for about 100 yards. He threw for about 200 yards, and it was a very balanced night for him that way. And he's fun to watch, and he's going to make a ton of big plays for us this year.
And often, I'm sure Coach will preach the three phases. Special teams is a big part of why you guys got back in that game in that second half. How crucial is that going to be this game just down the stretch because you have such dynamic returners and your return defense did a pretty good job too?
Yeah, so we spend a lot of time in the kicking game, and we do it all summer. We do it every week in practice, and it's something that we take a lot of pride in. Coach Quineri is our special teams coordinator. He does a great job, and Jaikees has had a number of big returns over the course of his career. Last year, he had several for touchdowns. He had a couple big ones last week, and he's very dynamic when he gets the ball. I thought the guys blocking for him did a fantastic job and created some seams. Kevin Boudre had a big return as well, so that was good to see. And we feel like we have a handful of guys back there that can make a big play if given the opportunity. So it wouldn't surprise me if people start kicking away from Jaikees, but there's going to be other guys that are going to have a chance to make a play because of that.
You mentioned Boudre and Ray JV. He had a good game last week, had that big catch in the clutch moment. They're younger guys.
Yep.
So when you have all the skill players you have that are older, and then knowing that if someone, say, unfortunately goes down, or they just have to step off the field for a second, you can kind of plug in a player that's younger but have just as much effectiveness.
Well, Ray played a lot of football for us last year. He was playing as much as any of the starters at corner as a freshman, and he had a really good offseason and preseason camp and all those things. And he has a lot of playmaking ability, and you'll see him on both sides of the ball. He played, I think, about 55 reps on defense last week, and he played a pretty good chunk on offense. Had that big catch at the end, and he's good with the ball in his hands too.
And we mentioned only two returning starters on the line offensively, but they seem to hold up pretty well. What was encouraging from them that you saw this week?
So we had two sophomores play notable snaps. Seth Bowen played the whole game at center, and then William Sanders played most of the game at guard for us, both our sophomores. And both those guys held up really well, and they're going to be really good football players. They're young and they're still developing, but they did a really good job against a good football team last week rather. And with that, it's encouraging. They're going to get better and better as the year goes on.
And lastly, of course, the key is going to be playing defense in this game because we know both teams have good offenses. And you have a little more comfort knowing, okay, we didn't have a great performance last week, but we have a lot of seniors in the team and a lot of older guys who are playing on defense that can kind of, right the ship quickly.
Yeah, we do have a lot of experience there, and the bottom line, we have to execute better. And give Walsh credit. White Walsh did a good job. They had a good game plan. They were very efficient on first down, and that led to success in a lot of their drives. But we have to fix that. We have to get better. We do have experienced guys, and they have to execute. And I'm confident we're going to do that.
Thank you very much, Coach. This has been Tim Corso from the Golden Dawn here. Ursuline will play Columbus Hartley at 7 p.m. on Friday night. And they're back the next week at Farrell. Look forward to that in the show next week at 7 p.m. here on YSN Live.